Yo, what's good, everybody? Good morning. How you guys doing? This is your boy, Coach Dante, your host from Coffee and Sports in the Morning. Y'all get your cup of coffee, get everything you need. We got some sports we gonna talk about in the morning. And shout out to everybody, man, that's gonna come in. Jury should be up here in a minute. But other than that, got my man to the right-hand man on the morning show, my boy, Mo, better. And we got my man, Will Morgan. Will Morgan will be on the show for the whole show, and that will be good to have him on the show for the whole show with us. Mo, how y'all guys doing?
Doing well. What's up, Will?
Bro? What's good? So y'all may want to stay tuned and live because y'all don't want to miss this one. Y'all, Mo got a special boxer that he's going to name. And guess what? He's in this regime right here. He's got a fight, supposed to have a fight up and coming. Working out with what's that dude named? John Louise coming up, the one that upset Anthony Joshua, pretty much. Upset Anthony Joshua. He is none other than Deontay, the Bronx Bomber Wilder. You don't want to miss that. Y'all talking about some crazy knockout power. If y'all want to see knockouts, that's the dude right there. Y'all need to see. I can't wait to Mo get it. Get in that one. Mo get in that one right there. Y'all want to talk about a guy putting somebody to sleep with one punch, or they can turn a fight around with a punch.
Oh yeah,
hey, that's a guy. Mo gonna tell you about it. Plenty of times that man was down in a fight in a punch in one punch. You know, it's kind of like when you're playing the Golden State Warriors or something like that in 2017, or the Houston Rockets offense. It's kind of like when you're down by 20, all of a sudden they get on that one run. So all of a sudden that one punch just take it away. That one punch just take it all away. That's kind of Deontay Wilder. Mo will get into that, more into that after the show. So, Jerry, how you doing this morning?
What's good, Jerry?
Hey, Jerry, what's up? What's going on with you?
Jerry having a little technical difficulties right now. But got our first topic of the morning. We're going to go through our first topic. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. Every time I go ahead, be happy and have my flowers, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So the moment the Astros trade for Justin Verlander, it was Justin Verlander Day yesterday. You already know the Mets was on a whole fire sale.
That you even get started on my Mets, man.
Oh, I didn't know you were a Mets fan.
I get started.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know you was a Mets fan.
You was a Mets fan?
We got enough we going through right now.
Yeah, Jerry will be back up here. She got technical difficulties right now. Oh my goodness,
man.
Hey, Will, talk about. Matter of fact, we're gonna talk about your Mets right now. Talk about.
Your team got a fire sale.
Exactly what it was, a fire sale. It's just a damn shame. Showalter's going to end up being fired. He's going to end up being fired. He's gone. We all know that. We all know that. But you know the thing that's most disappointing, and this kind of shows you in sports, people look at payroll. And you got the highest payroll equals the fact you got more talent equals the fact you should be winning. But look how much money the Mets spent coming into the season on talent, and none of it panned out. None of it panned out. So, that just goes to show you can have Yankees too. They struggling because they thought your boy was going to carry him over, but no. But back to the Mets real quick. Just because you got the biggest payroll doesn't mean the talent is gonna work out, and that's exactly what in this case that happened. That talent did not pull through, and now you saw that, and now they up here talking about something. They're not going to be back in contention, to 2026.
Damn.
I mean, come on, man.
Will, I feel boy, Will. Oh, then your Mets ain't doing no stink. Your Bulls ain't gonna be no better.
The Bulls ain't gonna be no better. Bulls ain't gonna be no better. I still say in the National League, even though they coming off a little snide against the Red Sox, I still say it's the Braves to lose.
It's the way they playing right now, but soon, like I say, Justin Verlander day yesterday being traded back to the Astros. My boy Brahma Valdez throws a no-hitter on Justin Verlander Day. How about that, Will?
Ain't that
he ends up throwing a no-hitter on Justin Verlander Day. That's something I could be excited. That's something I could be excited about.
I can't be excited overnight. Overnight.
Of course, you ain't gonna be excited. Justin Verlander gets traded back to the Astros, and all that. All of that happens right now. But he become the second of all time guy to pitch a no-hitter. A no-hitter basically with less pitches. It only took him 93 pitches to even pitch a no-hitter. Mo, your initial thoughts?
I was just impressed, and it was kind of a coincidence that he did it when Verlander came back. I thought they pointed out, was he also the first Astro as a left-hander to do it?
Yeah. They
pointed that out as well. Like, I was channel surfing, saw that, and I stopped, and in the moment you get caught up in it, and it was a big moment for that young man. So that was really a special moment for him. It's just a coincidence that it happened when they brought Verlander back. Maybe that's a sign. If you believe in signs or something like that, that might be a great sign for the Astros going forward.
Got you. Will, my bad, man. My bad. I had to do that. My bad. Jerry, so how you doing this morning, Miss Jerry? Who is that? Who is that, Miss Jerry? Which one is that?
This is Bella.
Okay, Bella. Okay. How you doing, Bella?
I'm good this morning. How are you guys? My bad. I'm having technical difficulties.
No, you good.
You good. What's going on with you? I ain't seen you in a minute.
Tired, but it's all right. It's all right.
Yes, indeed. So NFL topic going on. The league announcement that the Super Bowl will be on Nick something. What's how you say that dude name?
Nickelodeon.
Goddamn loading. Last time a playoff game was on Nickelodeon, I believe you had the Cowboys 49ers on Nickelodeon. You had the Broncos and the Rams on Nickelodeon. So good move or bad move for the NFL? I'm gonna start with you.
At the end of the day, they think it's all about ratings, and I get it. The more views, the better the NFL looks to me. But I just think it's a bad move because Nickelodeon is more geared toward young kids and preteens than anything else. I don't think they really care about the NFL, at least not as much as grown-ups do or their parents do. So I think it's a bad move. They just want to try to get some more eyes out there. But you're the NFL. How many more eyes or views do you really need? So I think it's a bad move.
Jury?
I mean, when you think about it that way, it could be good or bad. Like once he said, like Nickelodeon is literally geared towards little kids and preteens and stuff like that. But then I remember how I was as a child and as a preteen, and I didn't watch cartoons. I watched football. I didn't watch I didn't do any of that. So yeah, it for those kids who were like me, who did nothing but watch sports and Animal Planet and Discovery Channel and do weird stuff like that, it's good for them. But yeah, it is another marketing ploy to make it. It's another marketing ploy to make it more appeasable for the kids, just so they can get more eyes and more ratings. So it's a good and a bad thing.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I had to tell you when I used to watch. The last time I watched Nickelodeon was the 49ers. I didn't pay attention to the Rams game, but we can't act like nobody ain't watching no Nickelodeon cartoons. Go ahead.
Hold on. I got to stop you. This is some blasphemy right here.
What happened?
I mean, none of y'all watch Nickelodeon Guts.
I watch the cartoons.
Okay, I'm about to say.
No, I was just for to say that. The last time I watched
Legend of the Hidden Temple, I'm just saying. I mean, you know, as a kid, they had some good stuff back in the day. Maybe
hey, for real, that's what I was gonna say. We not gonna act like we ain't been up here and we ain't saw those cartoons like the Rugrats, Doug, Wild Thornberry. We ain't gonna Rocket Power. Y'all ain't gonna act like y'all ain't sit up here and watch them with Nickelodeon back in the day. Y'all ain't gonna act like that.
But I grew out of that quick.
We all grew out of
Rocket Power.
Rocket Power was my stuff. I used to watch that every morning before I would go to school. So go ahead, Mo. Rocket Power was the shit.
I think it's a great move by the league because it's just PR. It's good PR. And so when we think of Nickelodeon, we do think of preteens and kids, but Nickelodeon also is about family. It's also about family. So there's a connection there, and I think the league sees that connection. There are some kids that are 12 to 15. They're into sports already. They're already playing. Someone playing midget league football, baseball, basketball, all that kind of stuff. So I think there's a correlation, and I think it's a smart move. The NFL is all about ratings, money, and PR. And as funny as it may seem, I think Nickelodeon hits on all those things. So I think it's a great move by the league. It's not going to hurt the brand in any kind of way. If anything, it will only enhance it. You just don't connect Nickelodeon to a major sport. And I get that, but I think the league is thinking outside the box on this one.
Yeah, like Morgan said, we ain't gonna act like sit up here and act like we ain't never used to watch Nickelodeon and cartoons. Yeah,
I know y'all did.
I know everybody did, especially I did. I watched Doug, Wild Thornberries, Rocket Power came on early in the morning. You had who else that you had up on now? You have the Rug. Of course, everybody watched the Rugrats. Whoever ain't watched, everybody watched the Rugrats.
Everybody watched the world's most dysfunctional parents.
You had Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron was on there. Jimmy Neutron came on after right after school. So it ain't on that like nobody in the chat ain't used to watch Nickelodeon.
I know all y'all watched it at some point too.
Yep. And Mario say she's still watching goddamn cartoons. I ain't mad at you.
Ain't mad at you at all.
Don't be mad at you at all. So other than that, we move to the day. So I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. SpongeBob, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
You know what? Keep it 100. It's not on Nickelodeon, I don't think, but that cartoon, the Mike Tyson Mysteries, that cracks me up. That busts me up. I watch that all the
time. I ain't mad at you for still while. I ain't mad at y'all. Mad at you. So we got a running back difficulty up in Indianapolis.
This whole situation, just a damn shame. Sometimes these owners need to just shut the hell up, stay off Twitter, and just shut up. When you said that about Jonathan Taylor, you know Jonathan Taylor was going to react. You knew he was going to react. And then you got Moss breaking his arm. You got another running back up there who's not completely healthy either. So what are you going to do? You got to put JT in there. And now they're putting JT on some on the I can't remember that list, but where they put him on that list, he wouldn't be paid to some type of mysterious back injury
Right. I think it's a non-football related injury list or something to that
Yeah,
effect.
man, forget that, man. Come on, now the owners just need to shut up. Come on, man. JT, the best running back on that roster. Come on, they need to stop with the foolishness. Just stop it. You need this league. Yes, I realize it's a passing league. I get it. I understand it. But at the same point, JT has shown he can be a game-winning running back. So just stop it. Just stop with the nonsense. Just stop it.
Yeah, gotcha. So you did like more like Will said. Zach Moss did break his arm. And Indy. Does this move need at all Jonathan Taylor getting paid? Means he's getting paid, or keep in mind, Indy isn't paying anyone on their offense over the next seasons. Go ahead, Will.
That's just asinine. I mean, you're gonna need you got a rookie quarterback.
There it is.
You're gonna have to have a running back there to be his safety net somewhat, and to learn the pass blocking assignments. So again, it's just ridiculous. And these running backs need to be paid. They touch the ball at an extremely high level every game. So they need to stop it.
Jury?
I mean, this is easily, I could say, one of the most preventable situations I have ever seen in my life. He didn't have to press send on that tweet. Either one of them.
Exactly.
He didn't have to go in front of the media and sit there and say, if I died and Jonathan Taylor was out the league would go on and da-da-da-da-da-da. He didn't have to say that. And I don't know why he's out here lying, talking about we take care of our players. Andrew Luck would like to have a word or two.
Facts.
And a few others.
Straight facts.
So does Zach, the question was, is Zach Moss breaking his arm move the needle for Jonathan Taylor getting paid? Yes and no. It should move the needle theoretically, but this is Irsay that we're talking about. If they're already talking about finding ways that they can cut corners so they don't have to pay him, if they're going to find a reason to not pay him, they're going to do that because they want to play hardball. It does put the pressure on the team to figure something out with Jonathan Taylor. But like I said, we're working with old Irsay. But like Dante said, Indy is not going to end up – Indy isn't playing any offensive players for the next 2 to 3 seasons, I believe, unless they're offensive linemen. Even then, I'm not sure. And
Jury, I agree with you. The thing that kills me about the Colts is the way the Colts are built. They're built to have a running game, and for some reason, they got a good defense. They got a good line. They're built to have a running game and win off of it. And like you said, to piggyback off what you said, Irsay is just terrible. He's just a terrible owner, and he's not looking out for the team the way he needs to be.
And now that, because the offensive line wasn't too good last year. So you paid all that money for an offensive line that performed for about 2 seasons, and then the third season decided to drop off. So we don't know what that's going to look like. You need you need Jonathan Taylor. So to sit here and act like y'all don't need him when that's arguably, given Anthony Richardson is unproven, even though Jonathan Taylor is arguably the best player on that roster. You can count on DeForest Buckner and all of that, but when it comes to push to shove, Jonathan Taylor makes that team go. So Irsay put himself in a whole bind that he's going to have to fight himself out of it, because he didn't have to tweet it. I don't know what type of drink he had in his cup that made him say, oh, let me send that. And then I'm going to double down on it. And then I'm going to say I'm not trading you. So
that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. This whole thing could have been avoided. And then to find out that you haven't even put an offer on the table yet. Oh, Irsay's going to let him walk. I have a feeling that he's probably going to let him walk at this point.
And I see somebody in the chat said franchise tag. I'm beginning to hate that damn franchise tag.
Me
I'm
too.
beginning to really hate it because the franchise tag is a cop out. You can franchise play what, twice?
That's why I got so upset
I
with
hate it.
Saquon. When Saquon signed that deal, I'm like, you just folded.
He
like
just
a
made it
lawn
bad.
chair.
I mean, I'm glad he signed back, and I understood why he did it because of the type of person and player that he is. But at the same point,
Yeah.
he made things bad for fellow running backs in negotiations.
One, because he also ended up, because I read that he declined something because it was $2 million short of what he wanted, which was 24. So you declined a $22 million deal to end up turning around to sign a $10 million deal. Folded. And then it sets the precedent for situations like the one we're dealing with in Indy.
Yep. And let's not forget, Dalvin Cook hasn't signed yet. So what was this Saquon deal mean, in his signing as well?
Exactly.
Mo, go ahead and touch on it.
So you got to know your audience. Jim Irsay is one of those owners that constantly likes to remind players, I'm in power. You're an employee. He has that kind of control. And to Will's point, the Colts win whole when the offensive line is healthy. It's one of the best offensive line in football. And it's an offensive line that excels at run blocking. When he's healthy, Quentin Nelson is probably the best offensive lineman in football.
Mm-hmm.
And across the board, they're strong when they're whole. A young quarterback's best friend in his early years is a strong running game and a tight end that can get down the field, a pass-catching tight end. And you need Jonathan Taylor to make life a little bit easier for Richardson in his first year. Of all the early and the younger quarterbacks right now, especially the first-year quarterbacks, Richardson is the biggest project. He's a freakish athlete, but he's not a natural thrower of the football. So he has a long way to go in his development. I can guarantee you this. When they call pass plays, their passing offense will be very vanilla. And because it's going to be very vanilla, you're going to need that strong run game. You're going to need the win first and second down to set that young man up for success. And let's not forget, Jonathan Taylor's also a threat out the backfield. With a young quarterback like that, a healthy Jonathan Taylor's probably going to catch 50 to 60 passes out the backfield, let alone what he does for you on the ground. That said, we're talking about conventional thinking. They just had a running back go down, got hurt, broke his arm. But you're talking about Jim Irsay. He doesn't go conventional. Is he going to go, well, now I got to give Jonathan Taylor his money? He's not doing that. Jonathan Taylor is not going to get a raise. He's not. And even if he turns around and has an 1,800-yard season, they are going to slap that tag on him again. They're not going to give him a raise.
You know what Irsay remind me of? And I'm going to go back to a wrestling reference. You know who remind me of? As far as all this pettiness he's showing, Vince McMahon. With all this pettiness that he's showing right now toward his team, with all this pettiness, that's what remind me of Vince McMahon. Because look, if Vince don't want to pay you, we ain't going to pay you. He ain't going to do it. Ask Braun Strowman. He kicked Braun Strowman out just for having a bad attitude. Nah, you also didn't want to pay the man. So you kicked him out. You cut him. You brought him back under duress. But Irsay is just terrible.
It's a good, I like Will's analogy. That's a good comparison. And that's the thing. We all know Jonathan Taylor is their best offensive player, bar none. Yep. But I guarantee you, Michael Pittman, who's a good football player, solid wide receiver, he will get paid before Jonathan Taylor gets paid. Even though Jonathan Taylor is one of the top running backs in football, and Pittman might be a top 20 receiver at best. Good player, not a great player, and he's going to get paid before Jonathan Taylor. It's the state of the running backs, but the fact that Irsay had to say what he's got to say, I really just think that's about Jim Irsay wanting all the attention on him and reminding everybody that he's in power. That's all.
Hey, another thing too I want to bring up.
Go ahead.
Irsay saying all this stuff. How does Indy look to potential free agents now? Down the road. Horrible.
Like a place that potential free agents will bypass.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take care of their players.
Mm-mm.
And they throw them under the bus.
Here's what's crazy, though. they actually have a very good general manager. Chris
Exactly.
Ballard. He's an excellent general manager, but the problem is the guy above him, he hampers him. Chris Ballard is doing a great job with one arm tied behind his back.
Yeah,
so great job despite it all.
Mo, when you was alluding to Anthony Richardson, and I agree with you, it may hurt Anthony Richardson. Also, he does have accuracy issues, but also he's also is the quarterback that has the most upside in the draft, that has the most potential upside.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes, out of CJ Stroud, out of Bryce Young. If he gets right and develop, he can become the best quarterback because he's got the best potential upside. So now the thing that I want to get to. So now since you got Zach Moss breaking his arm, since you got contract issues with Jonathan Taylor, you got a variety of running backs out there. You got Dalvin Cook still out there. You got Ezekiel Elliott still out there. You even got Kareem Hunt a little bit. Which one, in y'all opinion, should they go for? Since they can't get things worked out with Jonathan Taylor, which one will be enticing in your mind? I'm gonna start with you, Mo.
From a talent standpoint, you got to go for Dalvin Cook. From a talent standpoint, Dalvin Cook is the most versatile back out there, and he's still a young man. That's the crazy part. And Dalvin Cook is only looking, I shouldn't say only, it's not a lot of money. He's looking for a team that's going to pay him $10 million. That's not a lot of money. It really isn't. And I'm amazed that no team wants to give Dalvin Cook $10 million. But that's what he's looking for. But knowing Irsay, my guess is he's not trying to pay Dalvin Cook. He's probably looking at Kareem Hunt. Hunt probably just to get back to be featured again. Kareem Hunt would sign for less money. And look, for value, that's a hell of a value. Because if you get Kareem Hunt and he carries the ball for you 200 plus times, he's gonna be 1,000-yard back. He's gonna be he's a great contact runner, and he's money in the red zone. So if they get Kareem Hunt because they're not gonna play Jonathan Taylor for one reason or another, they're gonna get great value.
J-Dub? Jerry?
Oh,
That's why I know I threw you off with that. Your name start with a J. Start with a J. And your last name is a W. That's why I called you J-Dub.
I kind of like the nickname.
Yeah, I kind of like that name.
I make up nickname. That's what I do. Thank you.
What was the question again? Because y'all got me distracted.
The question was they down Zach Moss. They having issues with Jonathan Taylor. They having issues with Jonathan Taylor. You got Kareem Hunt out there. You got Ezekiel Elliott, and you still got Dalvin Cook. Which one will be enticing if they don't get things worked out with Jonathan Taylor?
Before I even start on that, if they don't get things worked out, it'll be the stupidest thing that could have been prevented. 2, I believe because it's Irsay and he's going to want to be cheap, because he's not going to want to pay a running back. You got to look at who's going to be the most willing to sign for less money. Like you alluded to, Kareem Hunt just wants an opportunity to get back in the league and try to feature. I'm not so sure about Fournette fitting in that system. That's not going to work. Zeke is done.
Forgot he's still out there.
I don't like Fournette in that system either.
If you ask me, Zeke is a yard in a cloud of dust. Dalvin Cook is going to be too expensive, because if he's going to pay Dalvin Cook, why didn't he pay Jonathan Taylor?
That's a great point. You know what, though, Jury, now that I think about it, Irsay's so petty. I could see him signing Dalvin Cook for what Dalvin Cook wants.
He'll do it.
I can see him doing that
just to prove a point.
Yep, I can see him just to prove a point.
Now if that happened, they got to be a goddamn slap in the damn face to Jonathan Taylor. How can you pay a running back $10 million? You can't even give me goddamn $10 million. You're a best back. You're one of the best backs in the league. How can you not pay me a contract over 10? I'm still waiting on mine, but you can pay Dalvin Cook $10 million. Go ahead, Udger.
It'll guarantee that Jonathan Taylor will be out the door next season. They do that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't blame him. If I'm Jonathan Taylor and I see that, yeah, I'm leaving too. I'll be leaving too. I'll definitely put pressure on. I'll be leaving too. Can't pay one of the best backs in the league, but you gonna sit up there and pay Dalvin Cook? Can't even pay me. I'm better. He better than Dalvin Cook. He's way better than Dalvin Cook at this point of his career. He does a lot. Go ahead, J-Dub. Go ahead.
I can see Irsay doing something like that, but somebody's got to step in and tell him to use his logic and stop using his emotions. Somebody's got to stop this train wreck, because right now he's guiding a train wreck full steam ahead. And we all see the accident that's waiting to happen. Because when you do stuff like this, it don't just affect the team. It affects the locker room. It affects the coaches. It affects the staff. It affects pretty much everybody. You pit everybody against one another in one way or another. So if you're going to take this route and pay another running back, you better pay somebody about $5-6 million instead of 10. So that's why I'm thinking that either a Kareem Hunt or anybody who's just struggling to try to get into the league would probably be a good fit to take a significantly less cap charge.
I think Fournette would sign for less. Like you guys said, I don't think he's a fit with their run game, the way they run, because he's more of a between the tackles runner, and that what they do is they do zone blocking that doesn't really fit to what he does best. But I think he would sign for less money for sure. I think him and Kareem Hunt would be the ones you would get the most value for. Ezekiel Elliott would be interesting, but I think Zeke's pride would stop him from signing for like anything. He's not going to take anything. And to me, really, a good fit for Ezekiel Elliott, because he's still great in the red zone, would be Kansas City.
Ooh.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
That's what I never thought about. I ain't never thought about that. Ooh.
Thought about what? What happened?
I ain't never thought about that. Zeke with the Chiefs. I never thought about that.
Oh, if you want to win a championship, yeah. He'll be good as a back. He may be all right.
And now if he go there and get a Super Bowl his first year, and he spent how many years playing in Dallas and didn't get one? That'll be crazy.
That'll be crazy. That would.
I never thought about that.
Especially if he produce though. Especially if he does produce at a higher level. I mean, he don't even got to get over 1,000 yards. He can get at least about 400, 500. That'll be good. That'll just be good on his side, right? Yeah. That'll just be a good walk in the park for Dallas letting him go, and then him be able to get a ring and be rejuvenated. Hey, that ain't out of the book. So
it ain't.
They ain't out of it. So we got the last topic for J-Dub right here, and we got NFL one. All of these teams are projected to finish over 500 this season. Which of these teams likely to finish under 500? You got the Chicago, you got the Buffalo Bills, Ravens. Yes, the Ravens will be put in there. You got the Browns. You got the New Orleans Saints. Will, yep, your Saints up in now. And you got the New York Jets. Will, which one of them teams likely to finish under 500 if you had to pick a team?
The Browns. I'm not a big believer in Deshaun Watson, particularly at this stage. He's been out of the game for a minute. Yeah, he came back last couple of games. I wasn't impressed with his results. I'm going with the Browns. Yeah, you got Nick Chubb. But if Nick Chubb goes down, that's gonna hurt you. So I think it's the Browns. I think my Saints would be fine. I think the Ravens would probably be the biggest thorn to KC if they do meet in the conference game. But yeah, I think it's gonna be the Browns.
I'm telling you, Carl. People sleeping on Deshaun Watson. They sleeping on that dude. They don't know how good that dude is.
I don't believe in him like that.
Hey, you can't. That's not a fair judgment. Coming out missing the whole season, that coming back week 13. That's not a fair judgment. He was gonna struggle. Of course, he been up out of the league. He been out of practice. He haven't been able to practice with the team. And for him and then he did turn it on. But now this year you will have a fair judgment. No excuse. I agree with you. But last year was unfair judgment of people unfair judging fair because he ain't played a week 13. He ain't played a week 13. He couldn't practice with the team. Practice with the team. So this year, if he does similar, then you got the right. Yeah, I won't be defending him at all. I won't be defending him at all. Plus, hey, I got a lot of respect for him for the way he carried my organization. That's why
he carried it well.
Got a lot of respect for that.
I just don't trust the weapons on that team outside of Nick Chubb. I mean, you got your receiver who's good in home games but suck at road games. Callaway gone, so I mean.
But to be honest, it depends on who Amari Cooper going up against, though. If he going up against an elite corner, he gonna shut down. He gonna shut down. If he going up against someone that's a number 2 or average, then he'll kill them. He'll kill them, but against an elite corner, he won't do it. He won't kill them at all. J-Dub, go ahead. Which one of these teams likely to finish under 500?
Somebody's not gonna like me after this, but I did pick the Saints.
No.
But
there we go. There you go, right there. Yeah, there you go.
We are neighbors. Why would you do that to me? We are neighbors. We both live in jail. Why would you do that to your neighbor? Dang.
The way that I look at it,
Jerry, you hurt me to my core.
There you go.
I look at it. That's why I was over here looking like that. I'm like, he finna get me in just a second. but out of all of these teams, the teams that you listed, they have the worst quarterback. I don't trust Derek Carr like that. They have genuine can they stay healthy concerns. They lost some pieces on defense.
I agree with that because we do need linebacker help. I agree there. After Demario Davis and Pete Warner, I agree.
And with me not having the utmost confidence in Derek Carr and being a competent quarterback at times when you need him to be, if any team and that list goes under 500, it'll probably be the Saints. Just because
gotta respect that. I think you're wrong about Carr. I think Carr is going to come into the season with the best defense he's ever had. But there are some other question marks. Can the secondary stay healthy, which has been an Achilles heel over the past few years with the Saints?
Can Michael Thomas stay healthy?
DeMarco Davis, DD, I think he'll be all right. Pete Warner is the guy you got to look at to see if he can stay healthy. I think offensively we might lose Alvin. We're going to lose Alvin Kamara. But I think Jamal Williams will be fine for that time that he's out. Chris Olave is going to have to continue to take that next step. So I get your concerns, but my thing is in that particular division, everybody else is going to be struggling. And I think they're going to be the cream of the crop in that division and probably finish third behind the Eagles and the 49ers in the conference.
Go ahead.
Third?
Yeah, but behind the Eagles and the 49ers.
That's if you win your division, they basically finish third.
Oh.
They basically
finish third, you win the division. Yeah.
If you win the division, you basically in third place.
Yeah,
third place. So
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's if you win your division, you
win your division, which we should win that division. Unless you telling me you trusting Desmond Ridder in Atlanta.
I don't. Well, I trust the talent that we have, and I've seen flashes from Desmond Ridder. I need to see more. Personally,
I agree with you.
Like that whole Trevor Lawrence thing in the group chat last night. I need to see more, and that's just a me thing. Don't. And we all know Tampa and Baker Mayfield is not going to be close to even competing.
He might not. We talked about it yesterday. He might not even start. It might be your boy Kyle.
And the Panthers, I think the Panthers might be better than what you think.
Yeah, I know the Panthers.
I think the Panthers will be. I think the Panthers are going to compete for that division title.
Yeah, I think they will too. I think they're going to be really good. My boy Terrence, he's going to get off. He's going to go off this year.
That being said, I still think that out of all the teams we listed, the Saints will probably, if any team goes under 5, it'll probably be New Orleans.
Yeah. Like I say, again, Derek Carr has another quarterback that has a lot of pressure on him. Again, he's not in the AFC West no more. You're not the 4th best quarterback because in the AFC West last year, he was the 3rd best quarterback. I'm going to put it like this. In the AFC West because Russell Wilson had that down season. He was the 3rd best. He was the 3rd best, but when the season started, he was the 4th best behind Russell Wilson. He was projected the 4th best. Now he's the best quarterback in the NFC South. NFC South, that's no excuses. He with a great defense, elite defense. Yes, they need linebacker help, but your secondary is still good. Your defensive line is still going to be fine. The offense should be projected to be good. There wasn't nothing wrong with the Raiders' offense last year. That defense has never been top 15.
Defense was terrible.
That defense was never top 15 in the league as long as Derek Carr played there. But other than that, he has no excuses this year. So, Mo, which team are you going to go with?
Run down that list of teams again, Coach.
It's Bills, the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, the Browns, the Saints, and the Jets.
Wow. Because I actually have a lot of confidence in what Deshaun Watson can do with Nick Chubb bouncing back. And the receiving core outside overall is younger, but I think that he's the kind of quarterback, when he's on his game, he actually elevates receivers. And Nick Chubb's going to give you 1,500 yards on the ground. So that means defenses are going to play up. They're going to respect the run. The play action pass is going to be there.
Whoa.
It's a tough call. If you're saying who might go 500, then I would have to take a crazy take then and say it might be the Jets.
Hey, that ain't too far-fetched. That's my pick. Hey, Mo, that's my pick. That ain't far-fetched. They might not be the best team in the division.
It might be the Jets.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick.
It's not a bad pick. It's not
far-fetched. Aaron Rodgers if you want to.
It's not a far-fetched. Go ahead, Mo.
Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah, I think it might be the Jets just because the offensive line, they still haven't really corrected that. Breece Hall, coming off of that kind of injury, he's not going to be the same running back right away. They never are. It takes time to come back from that type of injury. And chemistry, he brought some of his guys from Green Bay, but the number 1 and number 2 wide receivers are young dudes. They're talented, but he's got to develop chemistry with that. And I'll say this, no matter what chemistry you develop with your wide receivers, if your O-line is terrible and you're an older quarterback, that's a recipe for disaster. What happens to the Jets if Aaron Rodgers just takes a massive hit and he's got to miss 6 to 7 weeks and you got to go back to Zach Wilson? Y'all gonna get one of the number 1 picks in the draft.
Kyle, you wrong, man. Aaron Rodgers.
He always do that to Aaron Rodgers. He's still on the head about Aaron Rodgers. That's not far-fetched.
It's not
at all. Because if it was a team, I would actually pick the New York Jets. They easily could be the 3rd best team in a division behind the Bills and the Dolphins. We know the Dolphins. We know the Dolphins projected to be better than him, be way better when Tua is healthy. The Bills,
but you got to remember who the Dolphins just signed.
Who?
I mean, you just signed burnt toast Eli Apple. And Chris that injury.
They gonna be fine. They gonna be fine.
You saw him get burnt, but he got burnt. I mean,
he got burnt. He got burnt. I still think they're gonna be all right. I
think he'll be fine if he's up on the line trying to run support, but man.
You know what though? Miami's gonna be good because the strength of that team is still their offense.
Yeah, they're gonna be able to score anytime they want. They're gonna be able to score anytime they get ready.
And I think you can hide Eli Apple because they're not gonna play man. They're gonna play a lot of cover 2, cover 3, some shells, a lot of zone. And if that offense is as prolific as we all think it'll be, a lot of teams are going to be playing from behind, which means they're going to try to be putting the ball down the field more. So I actually think that defense will hold up. Not to mention, they do got some guys that can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, they got a good defensive line. Bradley Chubb on that defensive line, Jerome Baker. They got some guys that can play. They got
running game should be good, and our running game should be good too.
Yes, Jeff Wilson and all of those guys. Those guys should be good. And they secondary, Holland is good. That safety is really good. Zadrian Howard.
You know, Zadrian Howard will do a thing. And when you get Ramsey back, from his surgery, his injury, they'll be that much better.
They'll be very, very, very much better. Any other particular team you guys want to kind of throw out there? That could finish under 500. Any other wild card team you got you want to throw out there?
I don't think it's a wild card team because I think most of us know that the Raiders are going to finish under 500.
They might get the number 1 pick.
Sorry, Raiders fans, but it just is what it is.
You ain't looking too good with Jimmy G. And your boy Josh Jacobs in a contract dispute. So
they might get the number 1 pick.
They might. They might.
All right, so who?
Cliff Brent.
Wow.
So who's worse? Who if you had to go by these rosters, the way the roster constructed right now. So out of these three teams, which one is probably the most worst? And is it fair to say these three teams that I'm about to name you guys will basically finish in the top three or the top five in draft picks? So you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they still have they still have weapons, but the quarterback situation is it's questionable. You still got them. You got the Cardinals and you got the Raiders. Is it fair to say those two teams picking in the top, at least in the top five or the top 10? Is it fair to say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially the Cardinals. That team is so mismanaged, it ain't even funny.
My thing about the Cardinals is, they hired because I'm a Titans fan. They hired Monty Ossenfort from our front office. And the first thing he did was go sign Dennis Daly. And you saw what he did to my offensive line last year. I'm like, you trying to get fired already.
That's the one that traded A.J. Brown, huh?
Yeah. John Robinson was the one that traded.
Okay. That shouldn't happen.
I still don't get that trade because
that was crazy right there.
I still don't get that trade because you went out and drafted a player just like it.
They should have paid that dude. They didn't want to even pay that dude.
It wasn't the ownership because he wanted to stay in Tennessee. They wanted to pay him. It was the general manager. That's why he got fired after the Philadelphia game. That's why I'm always going to be grateful for the Eagles because they got that man up out of there. But with the Cardinals, they got offensive line issues. They got defensive line issues. Kyler Murray's going to miss. I think he's going to miss a significant part of the season because if you think about where his injury occurred, which was week 14 of last year. ACLs are usually a whole year's worth of rehabs and making sure you're right. So I don't expect him until the second half of the season anyway. So who's his backup? Colt McCoy? He's still in the league. And then on the defensive line, they lost 18 sacks worth of production from two players. J.J. Watt retired. They lost another person. I can't remember his name right now, but they lost that, and even before then, they weren't doing too well. So yes, the Cardinals are a hot mess, and I hope who is their coach now? Is it Gannon?
It's Jonathan Gannon, JG. That's the one. That's what you call it. That's two.
It's
JG.
Gannon. Okay.
It's Jonathan. Yeah, go ahead. It's Jonathan Gannon.
Gannon got a tall hill to climb because Kyler is not the most easy person to work with, according to other people. Now, a part of that has to do with it's going to be put on Kyler to be more coachable and be more approachable and to actually listen and do things and be dedicated. But the Arizona Cardinals are just a hot mess. The organization, the front office is trying to get it together. It's a project team. It's going to take a few seasons, honestly. Now, whether Kyler's there for the rest of that, I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
And as far as the Raiders are concerned, one, they hired the wrong head coach. Josh McDaniels is not a good head coach. I don't know how many times we need to see this. The results of this. Two, I don't know. I'm 22 years old. About 21 of them, the Raiders have never had a good defense.
Damn.
So when are they going to address that defense? And when are they? The Raiders just have been horrible my whole life. So I'm not surprised that either one of those two would be.
Lee.
He said whole life.
Whole life, not half of it.
Not half of it, the whole thing. Just like how, like with the Raiders, I don't remember Jamarcus Russell because I was born that year, but I remember my dad talking about how big of a bust he was.
He was.
So, and then you have they haven't really. Well, let me get this. 2019, their draft class. We're all their draft picks from 2019.
Out of pretty much out
of the league.
Pretty much.
You got one or two of them in prison, and I'm not even trying to make light of this situation. One or two of them are in prison, and the other ones are journeymen or out the league, period. So they haven't drafted well, front office. They haven't played well. have front office, and they haven't made the right decisions as far as coaching and personnel. So if any team that has them two are going to be the 1 and 2. Tampa, they might be able to get it together because they at least have a little bit of a glint of confidence in their defense. Their offense, I'm not sure, but their defense can get it together a little bit. I have more confidence in their defense than I have in the Raiders and the Cardinals as a whole team.
Gotcha. So, Jerry, tell the people they can follow you before you get up out of here.
You can find me on here every Wednesday, Coffee and Sports Morning Show on the Sports Empire Network. I have some other things in the work, but you can also find me on YouTube at Jory Sports Stories, also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, pretty much anywhere that you can hear podcasts.
All right, gotcha. So appreciate you for having you on the show.
All right, Jerry, good to see you.
Like always good to see you. Always good to see you up in here. Shout out to Jerry Sports Stories. Y'all go check her out.
I got a new episode coming today though.
All right, gotcha.
Cool.
Definitely check that out. All right, but see you later, Jerry.
All right,
Have
Jerry.
a good one.
Yes.
Take care now.
So we got our next contestant coming up during the last hour, during the next segment of this show. Mario Knows Best. New person. Mario Knows Best. You know,
Mario.
How you doing?
Mario?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing great. Doing awesome. Nice to have you back on the show. Make sure you tell my guy Desmond Bain I said what's good, man. That's my guy from across the street. If y'all don't know, man, that's my guy.
Got you.
That's my guy right there. All right, so we go to a spicy topic right here, and this should draw some headlines right here. Shaq, NBA top 10 all time list. So you already know he has Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron, himself, Steph Curry, Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, Karl Malone, and he has Isaiah Thomas. And he said his starting 5 is himself, Magic, Kobe, LeBron, and MJ. Reaction to that, Will?
Man, most of it I don't have a problem with. I think I don't have an issue with. If I had an issue with anything, it might be with Isaiah. Just for the fact he wasn't the greatest defender. Now he was a point guard that could go out there and get to 30. So I think that makes him the second of all time. But the one thing that you never heard him be was one of the greatest defenders. But outside of that, I don't really have a problem with that list at all.
All right, you got a problem with that list?
The starting 5 is decent. I'm not mad. He had himself, LeBron, Michael, Kobe, I think Magic, you said. I mean, those players are in a lot of people's top 10.
Yeah.
But the bench it's about 2 to 3 players who really don't belong. Allen Iverson.
No, he don't belong. Yes.
Allen Iverson and Isaiah Thomas. I don't even. He said Malone. I don't think Malone a top 10 player all time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the bench, but his 5 is decent.
Yeah, I don't mind his 5, and of course he's gonna put himself in there.
Right.
I don't get all this hate for I understand it from a personal standpoint, with Karl Malone. I get it from a personal standpoint because he's a piece of trash. But from a player standpoint, I don't get all the hate him and John Stockton get because they were great players. Now, people, that's a different subject. But in terms of players, I don't get all the hate. I mean,
Karl Malone is about top 15, at least top 15.
At least top 15, at least.
He's not top 10. He's about top 15.
Top 15 at least.
At least he's top 15 for sure.
And I see a lot of hate out there for John Stockton. And as a player, I don't get that either. Now, like I said before, we talking about as people. Yeah, I got you because they both got issues. But in terms of players, they're 2 of the best out there.
Karl Malone used to give Shaq work.
Yep.
He used to give Shaq work. people forget when Shaq came to the Lakers, those early years with Kobe, that Jazz team, the one that Perkins and others called plumbers, they were busting the Lakers up. You can't be plumbers if you can bust up a team with Shaq, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, Eldon Campbell, and Kobe. You're not plumbers. You're good basketball players. And late in those games, Malone would play center, guard Shaq, and then on the other end, he would eat Shaq alive. So he's a great player. I'm not talking about the man. I'm talking about the player. As a basketball player, he's a great player.
Yeah,
Stockton's got records that won't be broken anytime, if at all.
Gotcha. So go ahead, Mo. I'm your initial thoughts on Shaq list all time. This is all time. This is his all time. So again, like Mario said, I believe Karl Malone's top 15. He's not a top 10 player of all time. Isaiah Thomas, you can argue it, but he's not. I don't think he's top 10 of all time. He may be top 15, top 20 is range. Allen Iverson nowhere near top 10. Nowhere near top 10 of all time. Top 10. You can argue if he's top 25 of all time, top 25 of all time. So, but this is Shaq's all-time list. This is all-time list. Of course, he's going to have himself. He's got Magic Johnson. He's got Kobe. He's got MJ, LeBron, Steph Curry, Allen Iverson. He has Tim Duncan. He has Karl Malone and Zeke. And his starting five, basically his starting five is himself, LeBron, Kobe, MJ. That's himself right there. So any problems with his top 10 of all time is not in order, but it's his top 10 all time though.
Right. So he's saying that this is his top 10 in his opinion, right?
Yes, in his opinion of all time.
And it's okay. I mean, Shaq is a great player, but if he was honest, he shouldn't be in the starting five. I'm just saying if he's honest. You can respect yourself, but if you're being honest, he shouldn't be in the top five. He's not ahead of Kareem, and he really shouldn't be ahead of Olajuwon.
He's not even ahead of Olajuwon.
He shouldn't be ahead of him either. So I mean, if he was honest, but look, everybody has their own variation of a top 10, and all professional athletes have egos. And Shaq is a great player, and you can always point to that run when they went back to back to back. That is one of the most dominant periods in NBA history. You can't deny that. But overall, I just thought that his list was kind of weird because he mentioned Kareem as an afterthought. He did a top 10, and then at the last second, he said, "Oh yeah, you should add Kareem too." Like 11, like 11. That's kind of crazy when you think about the players that he had way before Kareem. So
I thought you should have put Kareem on there before you put AI on there.
I love AI. He's not a top 10 player. He's not.
No, he's not a top 10 player.
Actually, most of those guys that he had in his back end are not top 10 players. So I don't know. Look, Shaq's a great player, but just because you're a great player by default doesn't really mean you know the game you play. I wouldn't say he's the most knowledgeable basketball player in the history of the sport. I wouldn't say he's a student of the game.
I just think he probably did.
If you ever listen to him as an analyst, Shaq doesn't give any insight. He says the same thing all the time. Dennis Scott told me to score 28 and 12. He says the same thing. No matter what question you ask, he brings up Dennis Scott saying he should average 28 and 12. Look, he's a great player, but he's not very knowledgeable about his own sport.
Go ahead.
He took players off of who he liked watching play back in the day. I think that's what he based this off of, because ain't no way in the world. Like I say, I question Zeke for his defense. I question AI. I think he just took this list off players he liked watching back in the day. And again, Zeke is great offensively. One of the few point guards that can get you 30, 35 in the game. AI was great to watch, inspired by watching him play. But nah, man. I just got issues with those.
And it's okay, right? Because it makes for a great debate. Your top 10 will is probably going to be different from mine. Mario's top 10 is going to be different from mine or coaches, and that's fine. That's why we can have a conversation about them, and you just respect each other's opinion. So I don't agree with his list, but I don't. In the big picture, those are actually all great players. Maybe some of them are ranked higher than I would rank them, but everybody he had on the list, they're all Hall of Famers. So I'm not going to hate on his list. I just don't agree with it.
Yes. Kyle said Kim Olajuwon is his guy. Man, that's my dude, man. I
Mine
don't know
too.
diehard Houston fan, but like I say, that ain't no blasphemous stuff. That dude was the truth, man. That dude, like I say, was the only superstar that can win a title, that won 2 championships with role players, basically.
And
Yes,
I know Shaq had issues with this dude, but ain't nobody giving David Robinson no love.
David Robinson was a beast. David Robinson was good. He was solid. He was nice.
Yep.
He was nice. You can't forget how he brought back Tim Duncan and stopped Tim Duncan from going to Orlando and assembling a big 3 over there, and he stopped that and he brought him back. He actually brought him back. But the only problem I got with it, but if Shaq, like you said, Mo, he's probably not the most logical thing. Just because you played it and you work at a broadcast don't mean you know it like that. But if you're talking about all time, see that's the problem. You're going to talk about all time, and like Will said, it could be the ones that he personally liked. But if you're going to go all time, Allen Iverson may not even be top 25 of all time. He up in there.
Yeah.
He's somewhere up in the maybe however you want to project him. He's a Hall of Famer. Of course, he's a Hall of Famer, but he's not even probably in top 20 of all time. You have Karl Malone who's top 15. Zeke probably at least top 20, top 20, top 15. So Steph Curry is going to be scratching the surface up in that top 10-ish of all time. Anything, everybody else, they're all top 10 players. Of course, he's going to put himself. He's going to put himself and think himself is the best center. Like I said, if you're speaking realistic, Kareem is better and Olajuwon is better. Has a better overall, has a better game than Shaq. Shaq just got the better resume. But if you're talking about far as better talent, Olajuwon is way better. It's not even close. Only thing you would say Shaq have him in is field goal percentage and scoring. That's it. Field goal percentage and scoring. When you get most of your shots at the rim, you're gonna have a high field goal percentage. Olajuwon, because he shoots fadeaways. He's more versatile on the outside.
Oh yeah.
Like I say, me and Mo discussed yesterday. In this modern era, Kim Olajuwon can play in this modern era. This guy plays like a guard. He plays literally like a guard. He defends like a guard and moves like a guard. And plus, he used to play soccer. He used to definitely play soccer. His first love was actually soccer. So that's why he has so much good footwork. And who did Kobe, LeBron them go to when they needed moves? It was that guy, Kim Olajuwon. It was that guy, Kim Olajuwon. But all these great players, we all agree. These guys are great players.
Right.
But if you're talking about all time, come on, Shaq. You're talking about all time guys, but these are the ones like Will said he personally likes as a player. Go ahead, Will.
I just wanted to say to see Hakeem Olajuwon in the Toronto Raptors jersey was just so disrespectful.
That's why I stay up all night, J-Dub. That's why I stay up all night. I be looking at stuff like that. Hakeem Olajuwon used to play soccer. His first love was actually soccer.
Yep.
First love was actually soccer. That's why you have good footwork. Have good footwork and stuff like that because he played soccer. He played at soccer. All right. So we got another topic going on in the NBA. So, what happens with Donovan Mitchell and the Cavaliers? Do you think he will re-sign with the team? If not, should the Cavaliers try to sign him this summer or next? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Should they re-sign him back? Should Donovan Mitchell want to re-sign back on the results, depending on the results of this coming season? Mo, go ahead.
Well, the Cavs, of course, they should want to bring him back. When you've got him, Mobley, Garland, and Allen, that's a strong core four, and they're all in their 20s. Garland and Mitchell are still getting better. I don't even think Donovan Mitchell's at his peak yet. I actually think he's still ascending. The question should be, is Cleveland his first choice? Because remember, his first choice was actually New York. That was his first choice. Cleveland put together the package that Danny Ainge was more interested in. So I know the Cavaliers want him back. I guess the question should be, does he want them back? Because I'm sure they're going to offer him a max contract this next coming summer. The question is, will he accept it? And I think he should. I like what they're building in Cleveland. They're a young up-and-coming team with a strong nucleus. I think that's a good spot for him. It's not a big market, but that team and that talent that they have, I wouldn't give that up just to go pursue a bigger market. The Knicks have a lot of talent, and I'm sure Donovan Mitchell, a combination of Mitchell and Brunson, that'd be an incredible backcourt. I'm not denying that. And you'd have them in Madison Square Garden. So if I'm the Cavaliers, I'm trying to get him signed ASAP, right away, before he even thinks of moving on from us. So I think the Cavaliers, there's no question they want him back because I think they see him as their franchise player. But I do think he's more about his brand, and he's got other outside interests. So it will be a competition ultimately between the Cavaliers and the Knicks.
Mario.
Yeah, I think the Cavs should resign Donovan Mitchell. I don't know if that's what, if hopefully that's Donovan Mitchell's first choice. I think it should be. They, like Mo said, they have a good 4 over there in Cleveland, and that they should try to keep together because this was what Donovan Mitchell's first year with them. They made the playoffs, and they hadn't made it previously. So I think Donovan Mitchell obviously pushes them over the hump in terms of making the team better. So they should definitely try to re-sign him. I hope and try to put his interests first to make Donovan Mitchell happy. That's all. That's what I think they should do.
Will?
Listen, I need all y'all to listen to me. I need Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan to go to that man. I need them to go to that man and put the pitch to come to the Bulls. We need you.
Yeah.
We need you. You need to put that pitch together. I don't know how you do it. I don't know. If you can keep DeMar, if you can keep Zach, if you can keep Vucevic together, you can have anybody else. You need to make that work. You need to make it work. That's what you need to do. But seriously, I don't think that happens.
No, because you'd have to give up LaVine or DeRozan to make it happen. And honestly, if I'm Cleveland, I'm looking at them as individual talents. I love DeMar, but he's on the other side of 30.
Right.
And Zach LaVine has been one of those guys that's teased fans for years. He has all the talent in the world, but he never makes that next step. I don't view him as a franchise player. I view Zach LaVine as an all-star caliber player. He's more of a sidekick than a guy that can lead your franchise.
But I think they need to. I think the Cavs need to sign him back. And hopefully he'll want to be back with that young roster. They did some good things. So I think the Cavs should want to sign him back, and I think he should want to be back because there's some part about that Knicks roster I don't like. I think somebody said in the chat. Playing with Randall. That's a good point.
all you got to mention is Julius Randle. There it is.
Yep, that's all you got to mention, Julius Randle. That's it. So I think the Cavs should want to sign him back. As much as I think him and Brunson would do good as a backcourt together, I think you'll have more team success with the Cavs than he would with the Knicks.
See, like for me, this is when I watch the Chicago Bulls. This is what I watch. I watch too many players that do need the ball in their hand. When you're talking about Zach LaVine, who needs the ball, DeMar DeRozan, who needs the ball, Vuka, who needs the ball. He averaged 18, he averaged 20 and 10 and can shoot from the outside. But let's be honest, he does need the ball to be effective. He does. Kobe White, who's not a point guard, he's a 2 guard. He needs the ball. Pat Williams, he needs the ball. So that's the problem right there. You got too many guys that need the ball. You don't have a true point guard, and that's what I think they miss Lonzo Ball at. Unfortunately, he's I don't know if that dude will be the same again. He's struggling. If he's struggling walking, something is wrong with that. And that's what I think they're missing. The Bulls are missing a true point guard, a true quarterback of that offense of the offense. They got too many guys that need the ball. That's why you see DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine handling the ball too much. Sometimes they're gonna be inefficient on the field because they have the ball in their hands too much and they force a lot of shots. Zach LaVine is the best player, talented player on that team. And he can do whatever he wants. But you know his problem? He does shoot a high average from the 3-point line, but he shoots too much at times. He shoots too many threes. But he does shoot 37%. That is a prolific shooting percentage. but he shoots too much. He get in the state, he shoots them too much. He settles for too much when he have a lot of athleticism. So he did recover from the ACL pretty well to even jump the way he does.
Mm-hmm.
You got Vuka don't play any type of defense, and I think they should have played Andre Drummond a lot last year. They didn't play him a lot. When he did play, he gave him some good. I thought he gave him some good minutes, especially in that playing game against Miami. I thought he was really good. They couldn't do nothing with him on the boards, and they didn't play him. They didn't play him a lot. They didn't play him a lot last year. So I think I say again, my boy Will said, they still the same team. They still the same team, and that team is even with Lonzo Ball, it's still too good, too talented to be making a play-in tournament.
Right,
it's too talented. And if I was a fan, I'd be much as embarrassed. We got too much talent not getting into making the first round of the playoffs. We can't even make the first round of the playoffs.
Billy Donovan need to go. I never understood that hire to begin with, to be honest with you.
That's crazy.
That has a lot to do with their problems. Coaching does matter. Billy Donovan ain't it. He's not the guy.
Ain't it.
You got to move on from him.
Yep. And I don't understand the drafting. You didn't even draft a point guard this year. That's your concern. That's your position to need. Ain't even draft one. Come on, man.
What's
I
good?
thought they were going to make a play for what's his name? The veteran point guard, Mike Conley. I thought Mike Conley would have been a good plug-in fit for the Bulls. He would have set DeMar DeRozan and Levine up for success. He would have gave them more catch and shoot opportunities as opposed to them trying to do everything one-on-one off the bounce. So I'm shocked that they didn't go after him. But then again, the way the Bulls are being managed right now, I shouldn't be shocked.
You thought everybody thought Garpax was bad. This is even worse. Everybody thought Garpax was bad. This is even freaking worse. Oh.
Okay. I don't want to stress Will out anymore than he already is at this point. So we go to we ain't talked about them I always bring them up to take a shot at Mo. I always bring him up, of course, to take a shot at Mo. We is talking about the Lakers today.
Here comes Freddie.
But hey, Mo, have you ever heard of a certain Cal Whitmore? You know that guy.
Here comes Freddie.
Is this gonna be like a season-long thing?
Yeah, it may be. If he turned out to be something good, which is it's great potential.
All I know is on draft night, I was like, "Come on, Rob." Come
on. Y'all watch out. Fred about to come up.
And Rob just blew me off.
Lakers talk.
You know, everybody. Every time I go on Twitter or something like that, everybody give me the finger because we took Cal Whitmore. I'll say it's not my fault that y'all passed up on him. Y'all passed up on him, and we picked him up. But it's crazy in La La Land, we're in Laker land. So the Lakers could start Jackson Hayes. We already know what the more action up on that.
If you want to lose,
go right ahead.
I see this reaction. So you got a potential starting two bigs in the lineup featuring Jackson Hayes and AD at the same time on the floor. So Mo, I'm gonna wait on you. You're gonna go last on this because I already know your reaction because by you shaking your head, I already know your reaction. All right, go ahead, Will.
Why? Why? No. You keep that. You look right now. Okay. So you brought old boy back. You brought him back from Minnesota. You brought him back. Keep him as your starting point guard. Well, really, he ain't. D'Angelo really ain't the starting point guard. He's only in name on roster position only because LeBron gonna bring the ball up 9 times out of 10. But you still got him there. You still got LeBron. You still got Austin Reeves. You still got Hachimura. Those are your 4 players right there, along with AD that can get it done. Why start him? Why? You're big enough as it is. Why? It don't make no sense to me, but I'm not a Jackson Hayes fan, so we'll go from there.
Go ahead, Mario.
I mean, you putting AD back in his natural position, so I guess that's one benefit to starting Jackson Hayes at the 5. He could play AD could just stick with playing the floor, do it, because wasn't that something he wanted to do anyways? He didn't want to play the 5. I heard there was all that, but AD is good at playing the 5. So me personally, if I was the coaching staff, whatever, I would just keep AD at the 5. I don't see the point in bringing Jackson Hayes in to play the 5, because AD is still dominant on the court regardless of what position he's going to play. Just stay.
Jackson Hayes won't be ready. He won't be ready at this point to be a starter. He's not ready yet. And it's very rare and far between to have a rookie that is ready. So I think you just bring him off the bench, keep him at the 5, and stick with the players that keep bringing you to the dance. They went through that run with Hachimura and Reeves. They went through that run. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep that rotation going until it breaks down. And you just have to hope that AD and Bron can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Boy, Brandon from the block in here. What's good, my boy B?
What's up, Brandon?
All right. So if y'all don't know Jackson Hayes, pretty much last year he only played 47 games because most of that he wasn't hurt. He was DMP'd. And that's for a reason why he fell up out of the rotation. It's for a reason why he fell up out of the rotation. So Mo got a reason to shake his head up on that part. But if you go
ready for that starting role.
If you go back to 2019, though, he played in 64 games. A lot out of 82. Most of that was DMP. Some of that, the 18 of them was DMP pretty much. He averaged 7 points per game, 4 rebounds per game. You go back to 2021, 60 games. Played only in 60 games. 22 of those was DMP. Basically, if y'all don't know what DMP means, that means that's a coach's decision. You don't play. When the coach don't call you, you ain't playing. You ain't playing. You're suited up, but you ain't playing. He averaged 7 points per game. He averaged 7 points per game. Same average, 7 points per game. Last year, he averaged 9 points per game in 70 games. He played to 70 games pretty much. Last year, 47 games. A lot of it was DMP. So go ahead, Mo.
So when you're DMP like that and you're not injured or anything, it's because you're not very good. You're not very good. Jackson Hayes is basically one of us with really good seats. Really good seats. To keep it 100, I think he can be good in a rotational.
Rotation. Yeah.
And I'm talking about in spurts. So play him 6 to 8 minutes at a time. He can be effective when AD's off the floor. But the idea that you would start them together and make it easier to guard AD and LeBron, because Jackson Hayes is a zero range player. He didn't have any skill set. No post game, no jump shot. He didn't do anything.
Range.
The only thing he does is run up and down the floor. He gets good cardio every game he plays, but he don't do anything. So it doesn't benefit the Lakers unless you're trying to run a fitness camp. So I don't see the point of having him on the floor. If they start Jackson Hayes, they're literally setting the Lakers up for failure. I'm sorry. Unless there's a rash of injuries, that man should not be on the floor. I would rather go small and put Rui at center than play Jackson Hayes.
Yep. Like I say, keep the core that brought you back. This is the core that brought you back last year. It gave you the best record at 18-6, and got you in the playoff. Why mess with it? Why mess with it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why mess with it?
I think this is one of those things with Darvin Ham is trying to outsmart himself. You're doing too much.
Darvin Ham is still with the Denver Nuggets coach. That's what this is. I'm gonna start this dude. It's gonna be smart. I'm gonna start this dude. He's gonna give you all kind of problems. No, he ain't.
The team that got you back and got you to the Western Conference Final, that group, bring that group back. Keep that rotation. But Jackson Hayes, if it was up to me, he would be able to leave every game and go straight to the club. If you know what I'm saying, like, he get no burn.
He ain't got to take no shower. He ain't got to take no shower.
All he got to do is change clothes and go to the club. He get no burn.
He ain't even got to take no shower. Just put the suit on and let's go. That's all he got to do. It's asinine to even
remember,
think about
Coach. He's young. He's 24 years old, but he's been in the league like 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. Yep, he's been in the league.
Here's the thing: if you saw him in year 1, he's the same player today. Nothing's changed. The only thing he does really well is run up and down the floor.
He just like Ben Simmons.
Hey, Bo got me with the fitness test though. Bo got me with that.
He's partly like Ben Simmons. I mean, because Ben Simmons can dribble the ball, can pass the ball, play defense, but Ben ain't learned how to. But Ben hadn't developed a jump shot. Jackson Hayes ain't developed nothing since he been here.
Oh man, Bo got me with that fitness test.
Don't need no big lineup. You big enough as it is. That's the one thing that helped get the Lakers over. You better off starting Tristan Thompson than him.
At least Tristan Thompson came out and gave you some good energy in game 4. At least he did that. He did do that. Something. He gave you something. He did do that. Yeah. But Mo, we're at the last segment. We're at your segment, man. Go ahead and tell us about that knockout power of the Bronx Bomber.
So really, I wanted to start talk about the state of the heavyweight division coaching.
Go ahead. Talk about the state.
Like right now, the heavyweight division to me is kind of in disarray. We're getting better fights in the lower weight classes, welterweight, middleweight, super middleweight. But you know how heavyweight goes. The promoters really, really control everything. Yeah. And you very rarely get fighters that fight each other in their prime. So Fury won the championship. But since he won that championship, he's had a couple of fights against a couple of punching bags. But he's not trying to fight anybody. So when are we going to see a Joshua fight Fury, or even Joshua fight Deontay Wilder? What I need is maybe they need to do what they did back in the day, Coach, and have a unification tournament, right?
Why not?
Do a tournament, hype it up, get the top 4 guys. What's the guy's name? Usyk?
Alexander Usyk, who beat
get him in there, because I think nobody wants to fight him.
Nobody wants to fight him. Yeah, I think Tyson Fury is avoiding him.
Yeah, I think they're avoiding him. But with Deontay Wilder, this guy has knockout punch. His knockout power is in both hands.
Yep.
If you stand in front of Deontay Wilder, you're going to sleep. It really is that simple. You're going to sleep. If you don't go to sleep the first time he knocks you down, you'll be asleep the second time he knocks you down. He started his career off, Coach, with, of his 40 wins, 37 of them knockout. And the other 3, you might as well call them knockout, but they were called corner. The corner stopped the fight. The corner actually said, "We're not sending you back out there for that." But that's crazy when your corner was like, "Nah, he's had enough. He's good." That 3 of his fights, the corner stopped those fights before the guy could get knocked out. I know Deontay Wilder has lost to Tyson Fury, but what I would say is this: I don't think he's done. I don't think he's over.
I don't think he's over.
I think I like the fact that he's working with different trainers. He's trying to refine his skills. That punching power will always be there, but the fact that he's upgrading and he's working on different styles, he's trying to be more versatile with his jab. If his jab just can become more accurate to go along with that power, I'll say it. I think he can actually regain the heavyweight championship. I really believe that. I know that right now he's marked as a one-trick pony because he came into the boxing world and was just a knockout artist. He's almost like a modern day Mike Tyson. But here's the thing: if you've never seen Deontay Wilder fight, that's a huge man. He is 6'7", with an 83-inch reach. That's insane. With knockout power in both hands, he's a freakish athlete. Tyson Fury, to be fair, was a great matchup because Fury's actually physically bigger. He's got a longer reach. And for what, even though he looks like a jelly roll, Tyson Fury's got incredible boxing skills.
He's like a jelly roll.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He's a good example of not judging a book by its cover. Tyson Fury, he does not look like he can model for Fitness magazine. But get that guy in the ring, and he's one of the most skilled heavyweights, maybe in the history of the heavyweight division. He's very skilled. Can fight on the inside. He knows how to use his body to lay on you. That wears on a guy because he comes in the ring between 280 and 300 all the time. I'm looking at the heavyweight division, and I really think the stars of that division right now, Fury, Wilder, Usyk, and I guess you can throw in what's his name? Is it Joshua? Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua.
I think it's Anthony Joshua.
Yes, Anthony Joshua. Yeah.
We have to get that unification tournament. I can tell you it's kind of strange to talk about Wilder because most of the great fighters we talk about, their careers are over. He's still in his run. He's not done. I would say he's right on the edge of his prime. Coach, this guy's got a 96.6 knockout to win ratio.
Every time he wins a fight, it's going to be by knockout.
You're going to sleep. If it's not a knockout, it's because your corner saved you.
Yep.
That's how much power this guy has. So what he's got to learn because of the Fury fights, and I think he has to a degree already, he has to learn to adjust to movement.
Yep.
The problem he had with Fury was most guys stood in front of him and for whatever reason tried to you can't punch with somebody with that kind of power. You can't.
Yep.
You can't. Fury actually showed movement. He stepped to the left, he stepped to the right, and he would backpedal. And every time Wilder would get close, what did Fury do? He would tie him up. He would tie him up, put his weight on him, and it wore on him. I think that was a learning experience. If you saw the first fight, that was a war, but Wilder ended up, I think that was a draw.
That was a draw because Wilder knocking him out, knocking him down twice. And it was a controversial draw because you can question, did Tyson Fury get up one time? And it ended in a draw.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. But that was a great fight.
The
second fight was very similar. The only difference is Fury did more holding, but that was a strategic thing. What do you do with a knockout artist? You nullify their power by clinching. I understand the strategy. So to me, going forward, because I think Deontay Wilder is far from done, I think Deontay Wilder, because he's honing his skills, becoming a better boxer. Yes, Tyson Fury is a tough matchup, but as a boxing fan, Coach, I want to see that fight again. I want to see. I'll go for a fourth time. Because you know what? I think a fourth time, when you've got that kind of knockout power, Coach, you said it. I've seen him down in fights, and one punch changed everything.
Yep.
He's got that kind of punching power. And the guys that are working with him now, they've got him working on head movement, something he didn't do before. He always fought straight up. So I think he's one of those guys that's breaking the mold of you can't teach an old dog new tricks. They're teaching him new tricks. They're getting him ready. I'll say this, in a couple of years' time at best, Deontay Wilder will be the world heavyweight champion again. That's what I believe.
Gotcha.
So I can't talk about him the way I talked about the other fighters because they're in the past tense, and we're right now in his run. And it's one of the most impressive runs when you think about it. The man was 40-0 when him and Fury met for the first time. In 37 of those, he put people to sleep. That's just an insane amount of knockouts. 25 of those knockouts, Coach, first round knockouts.
Yep.
That's a higher clip than Mike Tyson. That's how much punching power he has. So going forward, I think Deontay Wilder has become underrated. I think people are writing him off. And the same way people are writing off Deshaun Watson, I think is a mistake. Deontay Wilder is one of the greatest power punchers in the history of boxing.
And I'm gonna touch on this too. Go through his resume and stuff, and just give more insight up on him. You got some great, but like I say, I think just like the Super 6 tournament when nobody can avoid each other. The best fight, the best. You had Darrell, Arthur Abraham, Andre Ward, Jermaine Taylor. You had all of those great boxers at the 168 division, but when I went over Andre Ward's resume, he was not picked to win that Super 6 tournament. And he ended up dominating and whooping everybody in that tournament. And Andre Ward did not lose a fight. The only fight he lost when he was 12. That's the only fight. And that was controversial on that one. That was the gold medal. That was controversial on that. He got robbed in that gold medal fight. He got actually robbed. He got actually robbed on that fight. But other than that,
I'd like to see him fight. You know, what's that guy that Wilder fought? He was a puncher too. The guy they call Kong Ortiz.
Luis Ortiz.
I wouldn't mind seeing Ortiz fight Fury or something like that. The problem right now is, I think Fury's playing four corners and he's not trying to fight anybody.
Yep. So you got Bermane Stiverne. That was his first title defense. That when he went up against him, that was his first title defense. He ended up outboxing Bermane Stiverne. by unanimous decision to win his first ever title. He also to his tricep in the fight on Berman Stavern because he was hitting him so hard. And Deontay Wilder is a guy. Like, if you get up under his skin and get him upset, and that's the last thing you want to do. It's like when he's hitting you, he doesn't stop. He's a guy that when he fights, he doesn't know how to stop. It had to take the referee just to get the man back. And then also when he got you hurt, he got the intentions to punch wild. And by him being 6'7" and so long, hey, that's a recipe for disaster. But I'm gonna talk about the rematch after that. The rematch Berman Stavern didn't look good. I ain't gonna lie, it didn't look good for Berman Stavern. Didn't look good. Then he went to his hometown in Alabama and faced Eric Molina. We all know how that fight was going. Eric Molina was busted up and bleeding. I think they stopped the fight up on that one. And then he had to face Johan de Houpis. Johan de Houpis was a guy that was pretty good. I think he had just fought John Molina coming off a win on that one. That fight was stopped on the stool. That fight was basically stopped on the stool. He had his nose busted really, really bad. No, and the referee even told him on his corner, when you're in danger, if you don't show me something, I'm stopping this fight. And unfortunately, the last round he didn't show. They stopped. Wilder won by TKO knockout, and the ref did stop the fight actually in the ring. He faced Chris Arreola, knocks him out in the earlier rounds. Gerald Washington was a football player, used to be a football player, came in there undefeated. Deontay Wilder puts him to sleep. And we got the infamous Berman Stavern. Now, I remember watching the press conference, and I remember, what was that? That long-time promoter, Don King, that was him. Hyped it up, Berman Stavern. Berman Stavern got to the point so personal when he threatened Deontay Wilder. And what does Deontay Wilder come in and do in the first round? Knocks him down the first time. Berman Stavern gets up, and he just saw Deontay fall. When he saw Deontay Wilder's face, Berman Stavern was scared. So he just stood there. He knocked him down the second time. Then he got up on the ropes. Deontay Wilder hurried up and ran over there and did a 4-punch combination. He damn near fell through the ring. He fell back and his legs was his ankle was kind of behind him, and he was laying under the rope. His head was laying under the rope. His hand was laid up under the rope. He knocks him out. I forgot about Arthur Spuker, was a tricky fighter, giving Wilder all kind of problems. Wilder was actually losing that fight. But the one thing you cannot take away, and one thing that will always keep you in a fight, when you have knockout power, he hits him with a counter right. Arthur Spuker gets on a stretcher. It's on a stretcher. At the last minute, sleep on the stretcher. But Arthur Spuker was a tricky fighter. He was winning the fight throughout the whole fight. On points before that knockdown. That one punch puts him on a stretcher, and if the fight was over, he goes against your boy, Luis King Kong Ortiz.
Again.
Winning the fight. Ortiz is winning the fight. He ran out of gas. The only point, he ran out of gas. He was not in the best of shape. Wilder takes him out in the ninth round, on a flurry of punches. He goes fight Tyson Fury. We talk about the draw fight that they had. Wilder ends up knocking him down twice. Fury, it was a pretty much controversial because you can argue that Fury get up on time. Some people say he didn't get up on time, that Wilder actually knocked him out. Then he faces his rivalry. Dominique Seville, him and Dominique Seville been beefing for a long time. What Wilder does, knocks him out in the first round, puts him to sleep in the first round in brutal fashion. He fights Luis Ortiz again. Wilder knocks him out in the sixth round. And on the head, hits him basically in the temple, knocks him down. Facing Tyson Fury, both times lost both of those fights because Tyson Fury is technically the better boxer. He's like a boxer. He doesn't have knockout power, but he's basically a boxer. And like Mo said, he used that big old frame to lay up on you, to tie you up when you have any type of momentum. And Tyson Fury ends up dominating him and knocking him out both times, stopping the fight both times. But what I'm trying to say, he won his last fight in a brutal knockout fashion. But what he's trying to come out, and Mo is trying to say, it's no shame in getting your behind whooped by a better boxer. No shame of that. Tyson Fury is one of the best heavyweights in this game right now. Yes, he's avoiding Alexander Usyk. He's I think he can beat Anthony Joshua. I think he can actually beat Anthony Joshua. He's fine. I believe he's a better technical fighter. He's a better boxer. Joshua, if he can't get a knockout, he's not going to be able to get a knockout. He will be frustrated. And Tyson Fury is that guy that can frustrate people. That will taunt you to death to a point. Hey, when you want to just get in your emotion, he'll take advantage of that. But it's no shame in getting your behind whooped by a better boxer. It's no shame. I just want people to know that. Just like Errol Spence got his behind.
Just like Spence.
Yes, it's no shame in getting beat by a better boxer. That doesn't mean you're not great at all. You just lost to a better boxer. And like Mo said, I think it should be more tournaments, man, because you're going to start seeing more fighters avoiding each other when we should be able to see those unification fights. We haven't saw a unification fight, and we had a chance to see one when Deontay Wilder had those belts. Joshua would not fight him. Joshua would not fight him. Deontay Wilder put $50 million guaranteed for Anthony Joshua, and he still wouldn't take it. He still wouldn't fight him because he was so scared of that knockout power. We need to see more fights, and I think they need to get together. We need to see more tournaments where these guys cannot avoid each other, especially these title holders. These guys
maybe incentivize them, coach. Maybe put a $10 or $20 million prize up to the winner of the tournament. But find a way to incentivize these guys. And let me say this too about Wilder. Shout out to Wilder, because when he won the heavyweight championship in 2015, he was the first American heavyweight in years. Remember, the Klitschko's had held on to those belts for the better part of a decade. Before Wilder came along and became the first American to hold it since I think Shannon Briggs.
Yep, gotcha. So we come to the conclusion at the end of the show. Mo, it was good that Mo was talking about this new regime of boxing. Boxing is a very good sport where you want to see all the good fights, man. Good boxers go at it. Just like, Errol Spence got his behind whoop, but you want to see fights like that. You want to see unification bouts. That's what makes it fun, and that's what bring the people back to enjoy the sport of boxing. So back in the day, you weren't having these fighters like Mike Tyson avoiding each other. They fought everybody. Holyfield, Lennox Lewis fought the Klitschko's of the world and stuff like that. They would fight anybody. Now you get to the point where you got a belt, and when you seek a person is more greater, they tend to avoid the greater fighter. Canelo been ducking fighters all his career. So other than that, but we'll get more insight upon him. And I think Canelo is actually overrated boxer, because he ducked some fighters that he knows that could have actually beat him. That actually could have beat him. So other than that, shout out to everybody. Mo, tell the people they can follow you at.
Right here with you, Coach, Monday through Friday on Coffee and Sports in the Morning. I'm on the cheap seats on Monday nights with Gene and the crew at 6:30. Check us out there. Other than that, I'm just hype about tomorrow's show.
Yep. Oh yeah, Desto Wilder put that dude on a darn stretcher. He put Spielk on a stretcher. It ain't funny, but he put him on. It's just the way he punched. He punched him with that one punch. And after Spielk was winning the fight, he just put him to sleep. That's the type of power you got. He got that put to sleep power for you right there when he hit you. Mario, go ahead. Tell people they can follow.
My TikTok and my YouTube is Maria Knows Best. Instagram is Maria is Wise. And yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. Will?
TikTok at the Geek Gauntlet Podcast. YouTube and Facebook, the Geek Gauntlet Podcast as well. And I'll be here maybe some Tuesdays and definitely on Wednesdays right here on the Sports Empire Network.
Oh, wait. Hey, Coach, aren't you heading to training camp next week?
No, I'm actually going to training camp Friday and Tuesday. I won't be on the show Friday, and next Tuesday coming up, I will be going to covering Texans training camp on Friday and Tuesday. So I'll be watching my guys at practice. So shout out to everybody that's taking over for me doing those.
Will, that's you, man.
Hey, Will, man. Hey, I got faith in you, man. Go ahead. I got faith in you. I got trust in you. So shout out to everybody, man. They came through today. They came through this morning. Shout out to J-Dub. Shout out to my boy Mo, right here, man. Mario and Will, man. Shout out to the morning crew.
Mario.
Everybody, man. As for Coach Dante, Mo, Mario, Will, We'll see you guys in another one, and that is tomorrow on the next morning show. Have a good rest of your day, you guys.
Later, guys.